Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to review Legion Season 1, Episode 5, Chapter 5. And, well, wow, I guess the good thing about this week, guys, is we did get finally some clear answers, I guess you could say. We got, seemingly we've finally gotten to see or understand who the yellow-eyed devil is. Uh, Finally, people other than Sydney and David are seeing the yellow-eyed devil. And so whilst we do get many answers this week, it's kind of seeming like to me one of those situations where you take two steps forward, or I'm sorry, take one step forward and two steps back. We still, aren't seemingly clear of what's going on in David's head all the way. We know last week we left off with the two carries, the carry team, the who merge into each other to become one person. We know she was kind of left on the brink of will she survive or will she die? And we find out that they're able to save her, and that both of the carries, they share each other's pain, and they're able to she's able to survive and get back into action. But basically through David, from that last week's episode, it appeared to us that he had come out of his of his mind when he was stuck in his head. And so he still has his mind on going to save his sister. This time, David's not going to be reasonable about it. David's going in to save his sister, and Sydney's coming with him. But something interesting happens along the way as we see, and we see that they have some type of technology or device. Whilst David goes into Division 3 to rescue his sister, they can see that David is appearing to be some other type of being on this kind of thermal imaging device they use. It's not, what do you want to call it? They can project David's aura or something like that. But they're seeing the yellow-eyed devil, and the researcher carry part of the carry team, the doctor or what have you. He is figuring it out that there is something inhabiting David's body. There's this type of symbiote of pure consciousness that's probably an older mutant. Um, and it was good to finally see that everybody could see this thing and start to work on how to solve this problem and how to deal with the yellow-eyed devil. And we can see that as David enters into Division 3, he's just kind of just snapping his fingers, doing this weird dance maneuver, and just wiping out Division 3, like it's nothing. But apparently it's not him. It appears to be the yellow-eyed devil that's kind of taking over, David's abilities and taking over David. And he's going in to rescue, the sister and things like that. So, it's seeming to me, that like situation like with Lenny last week here, we got to see her kind of over the yellow-eyed devil's shoulders, and to me it looks like they were indicating that the yellow-eyed devil and Lenny are the same person. But what I'm gathering now was that the yellow-eyed devil and Lenny are the same person, but it's more to the effect of the yellow-eyed devil uses Lenny to influence David, because what we got to see from or understand more about this symbiotic being of pure consciousness, this mutant, or whatever it is, we got to understand and learn that it also is rewriting David's memories. So David, that's why David can't figure out that the yellow-eyed devil is there. Like, he'll see him and he'll forget him, because the yellow-eyed devil is making him forget, and then also appearing as other beings, appearing as Lenny instead of Benny, and things like that. And this is a way that the yellow-eyed devil is using his abilities to influence David without letting David know he's even there to be a problem. He's a symbiote. He's a symbiote, of some sort, or more so like a parasite. And so again, I'm just so glad they figured that part out. Now they can try to attempt to fight this thing. But we did have David rescue his sister, but it really wasn't David. So there's some confusion there, with what type of agreement that the yellow-eyed devil has with David. And we know there's an agreement because there's a scene with David having a conversation with Lenny, who again, I feel is the yellow-eyed devil appearing to him in a personality that he can influence him, more so with. But in addition to that, my guess is, or I'm thinking that, and I'm going to try to take a direction that I don't think a lot of people are taking. They do keep saying that David is, in a sense, is not crazy, that he has these powers and is not schizophrenia. But I don't know. I think if David isn't actually crazy, a mutant who's crazy, it's possible that David's ability to absorb other beings in his body is just a manifestation of all these other personalities, that he's taken into his body. And that's how come David's doing all these various things, and we don't know what's going on, because these personalities are emerging at different times and exhibiting different powers. And, not to go into comic books so much, or really go, I'll kind of leave that off at the end. But, there does seem to be some type of, as a lot of people theorize, many personalities he's absorbed into himself. And, it's seeming like that's part of David's ability, but also, as Dr. Carey was basically theorizing, that the parasite may have been attached to David for the last 30 years. So, and he also goes on to state that he believes that because David is so powerful, he may be the only type of mutant that could house the yellow-eyed devil, without being torn apart, that his level of power. So obviously there's a clear distinction that between David and the yellow-eyed devil, differ from some theories that maybe the yellow-eyed devil was just another personality, a manifestation of David. But it's actually, I think, more like David is this powerful mutant in himself, more so very powerful. And then we have the symbiote who's attaching himself. He's pure consciousness and energy. He doesn't have a physical body, and he's attaching himself to David to use his powers, and also have access to as a physical body and all David's tremendous powers. And I think also that the yellow-eyed devil kind of has the ability to control these personalities more so than David has. So we got to learn that as well in the episode. But getting back to the agreement between him and Lenny, there seems to be some type of, although it could be that David thinks he's making this agreement with Lenny, he's actually making it with the yellow-eyed devil. And this is an agreement where David has decided to let the yellow-eyed devil, I believe, to some degree, control and use certain aspects of his powers and abilities. Um, so that part, I think we were pretty much clear on. There's a lot of other things that happened in this episode that kind of had me scratching my head, kind of had me a bit uncomfortable. But we got very interesting scene with him and Sydney, where we have David, and of course David is, basically to take Sydney to this place where they can touch each other and they can have their time of romance finally that they had been anticipating. And kudos to FX. I mean, they're doing even more than some of the Netflix Marvel shows are doing. We got a little bit of nudity. We got a little bit of booty. We got we got Sydney, we find out is a fine white girl. I can say that because I'm a black guy. So we got the to see all that. But David's able to take Sydney into this place where they're able to, he can use her brain. They could create. He seemingly learned how to do this, and that's another thing that kind of concerns me about this week's episode, or I'm trying to understand, is David coming from, out of his head, or allegedly coming out of his head. He seems to all of a sudden now be this a person who's very confident in how to use his abilities. It's like it's a piece of cake. I'm going in there, I'm getting my sister out of Division 3 tomorrow. He's very confident on how to use his ability, how to create environments to be with Sydney, and to be a lot of things that he couldn't do before. So what's occurred in that time frame, besides the yellow-eyed devil, him and Lenny having this agreement and working together? So the thing I'm kind of concerned about now is this really David doing this and exuding all this confidence, or is it the yellow-eyed devil appearing as David and using David and doing all these things? And I don't know if it's more so that David is made an agreement where he could use these abilities to be with Sydney, and the yellow-eyed devil is David in the rest of the scenes. He's doing all these things, because clearly how the yellow-eyed devil goes into Division 3, killing, the soldiers the way he does, immersing them in the ground and the walls and things like that, and smiling as he does it, seemingly enjoying it. It just came off as very sinister, very evil, and very much unlike David's personality. So and clearly we knew that was the yellow-eyed devil, because on the thermal energy scan thingy device they had, we could see the aura of the yellow-eyed devil, right, doing all that stuff. But just trying to distinguish David from the yellow-eyed devil in these scenes, I believe that was really David being able to use and manifest those powers to bring Sydney into this private room, and then in a very eerie and disturbing scene, not being able to do anything in the room, as the yellow-eyed devil walked around the room and chased after Sydney. And then it seems like toward the end, the yellow-eyed devil, what he does is he makes them all forget as well, because they all at the end up back at Clockworks. But everybody's at Clockworks, Melanie Burrs, their autonomy, they're all in this, in the mental hospital. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that part. I didn't like them to go there. Even the eyes in there, the eye is kind of on the trail, as we saw through the episode. And he ends up there as they chase each other at the end to try to get David out of the house where him and his sister are, and they do find out. David finds out he's adopted, that his sister had been keeping a secret, but to keep them from, she's hoping not to make things worse on David, so she's keeping this secret, from David. And guys, just it's certain parts of this episode, to me, it plays out more like one of these horror movies, like the Carrie movies, where she's using her telekinetic powers and stuff like that. That's so this could easily double as a horror movie, a horror TV show, And wow, guys, only thing I could say at this point is that I'm gonna go with the Yellow-Eyed Devil. When they went into the house at the end, and they tried to get David back and get David back to Summerland and things like that. I think now that Yellow-Eyed Devil has almost like full control or full possession of Devil, his symbiotic side is taking over not only David, but all of the other personalities David has absorbed, because I'm going with either David truly has some type of mental illness where he's, where he needs help to control them, or he's, through his power, he's absorbed them all, and then the Yellow-Eyed Devil is feeding off everyone and he's able to control. Or maybe it could be that the Yellow-Eyed Devil is the one who's using David and making him absorb all these personalities, and this is how he feeds off them in some sense or another. But so they end up back there at the hospital. That's what I'm going with, that it's the Yellow-Eyed Devil has erased everybody's mind, and is putting this reality in their mind, and that it's not real, and that they're all just kind of caught up in this thing. And that's another thing about this show. We still having trouble distinguishing between reality and what isn't. But we are clear that they have seen the Yellow-Eyed Devil, and that the Yellow-Eyed Devil is taking possession of David, and if they can free themselves out of the situation they're in now, going back to Clockworks, and it's not a mental reality David's created, then hopefully now they can try to find a way to combat against the Yellow-Eyed Demon Devil and get him disconnected from David somehow. But anyway, guys, that's my review for this week. I'm like many of you, vexed by this. I'm pulled back by it, but I'm trying to stick in there, see where it goes. I like the ride so far. It's very entertaining. Don't like the fact that I can't clearly establish things to where I can give more coherent reviews. So, I wanted it to be this type of show and stick in David's head, but I wanted the audience to understand, to have a pretty good handle on what's going on, at the same time. But anyway, guys, that's my review for this week. If you like reviews like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.